Welcome to Living by Chemistry. I'm Angie Stacy, author of the curriculum. I very much appreciate having the opportunity to share a brief overview of the curriculum with you. It features daily interactive lessons that are phenomenon-based with an emphasis on conceptual understanding and provides a foundation for you to engage students every day in inquiry in your classroom. I want to begin by offering some background as to why I developed the Living by Chemistry curriculum. I have taught general chemistry to first-year college students many times in very large lecture classes. While students seemed to enjoy my lectures, I began to realize that they viewed science as a discrete body of facts available to memorize. They viewed learning as individualized, and many believed that science was only for so-called smart students. They were doing what I refer to as school science, in which the only way they could participate was through memorization. I wanted to shift towards the practices of science by allowing students to examine data, find patterns, develop explanations and models, and work in teams to develop shared understanding, because members of the team could contribute different skills. And most of all, I wanted students to experience more inclusive meanings about what it takes to be good at science. My overarching goal is to socialize students into new ways of participating in science and thereby seeing themselves as good at science. As I will describe, the curriculum is organized in 6 thematic units grounded in everyday phenomena to engage student curiosity. We offer an activity-a-day structure that builds conceptual understanding. The lessons are ready to teach, including detailed plans, worksheets, assessments, lab guides, and materials lists. The activities offer students opportunities to be scientists. They examine data, look for patterns, and develop explanations and models. Student readings summarize what was done in class. I want to acknowledge that this work was supported by a grant from the National Science Foundation, and because of the grant funding, we were able to test and revise the lessons in partnership with teachers and students at several high schools. The content is aligned with NGSS and state standards. The Living by Chemistry curriculum is divided into 6 phenomenon-based units to capture student interest. The units are alchemy, smells, atmosphere, toxins, fire, and sustainability. In the 3rd column, you can see how the core ideas are divided and scaffolded. And the middle column tells you what the driving question is for the unit. As an example, the driving question for the smells unit is, how does the nose know? And students have the opportunity to learn about the structure of molecules and how that structure affects the way the molecules smell. There are 126 45-minute daily lessons that can be used also in pairs for block schedules. The lessons follow a design that begins with a chem catalyst in which the students are offered a phenomenon-based question to spark their interest. Following the chem catalyst, the students engage in an activity in practices of science, such as a lab, demonstration, activity, classwork, computer simulation. That leads to the making sense discussion, in which you can encourage the students to use scientific concepts to explain their data and observations. And finally, there's a check-in in which we hope all students are able to demonstrate their understanding. When the students get home that evening, they can read about the lesson in 3 to 4 pages in the student textbook, as shown here, and you can assign the homework problems from that textbook. Now, what I'm showing here is actually the teacher wraparound edition, which includes the student textbook plus instructions for how to carry out all the activities so that you have a strong foundation for doing so. Here are 2 examples of activities. This one shows element cards for magnesium and calcium. In the alchemy unit in the periodic table lesson, students are given a series of 33 element cards. In groups of 4, they sort those cards and create their own periodic table. and then they use the cards to look for patterns in the properties of the elements. At the start of the smells unit, students are given 5 vials to smell. They characterize the smells as minty, fishy, or sweet. Then they are given molecular formulas to see what patterns might emerge. For example, the compound with a nitrogen atom has a fishy smell. The curriculum meets state and national standards. We use relatable phenomena to capture the students' interest. The core ideas are built by observations, finding patterns, writing rules, and applying ideas to new situations. Cross-cutting concepts are throughout the curriculum, making links to biology, physics, earth science, and engineering. And science practices help students see science as a set of useful thinking skills rather than merely memorizing a collection of facts. Well, I hope you enjoyed this brief video, and I hope that the Living by Chemistry curriculum will provide a foundation for you to have a great experience teaching chemistry. Thanks so much for listening.